Good evening. I'm Landon with Murmured Press. Today, we're going to continue with talking about realism. I will be honest. Since my last video, my world has just been super chaotic, super busy, trying to get my house back in order. At this point, the tree is evicted. Insurance has been called. Roofer's on the way. I've got, got most things handled, right? Family's in order. Finances are in order. I figured tonight I'd make me a cup of tea. I'll tell you this, my power's been on for a few days. I just wanted to break out my fire. My portable titanium hiking stove that is beautiful. And yeah, I get into some of the bushcrafty stuff, which I think is a valuable skill, right? I'll tell you this is the first time I've jerked this stove out in months. And I think that goes to show something. People in the preparedness space want to preach this piece of gear, that piece of gear, this bushcraft, that bushcraft. You need to know how to build a fire. Well, I do agree you need to know those things. I will also politely disagree. You see, a few things I learned during the troubles, as Pops over at Half-Ass Ready is calling it. I think people need a reality check, right? I'm all blinged out in my gear, had my Gundam suit up on my way to come light this fire. Tell you something, I haven't touched any of this in weeks. My first thought was to make sure my animals were good, make sure the photographer was good, and make sure I could be as safe as possible until the storm passed. Afterwards, I moved my rifle once. I put it where me or the photographer could get it, put my pistol on my belt, grabbed a satchel, and commenced to checking on folks in my neighborhood. It's funny, I didn't have to walk around in full plate. I didn't have to point a gun at a single person. Tell you what, I don't think I saw a single frown. Other than maybe in the mirror. I think today what I'm really after is just making sure that the people who I need to be taken care of are taken care of. When it comes down to it and you get down to that 72-hour mark where the hungry people are getting hungrier, getting desperate, that I had enough to last, right? A couple extra cans of beans, a camp stove, a couple green bottles of propane, and a buddy heater. That might have been the saving grace. I'll be the first to remind you, I don't do it all right, but I do some things right. I make fires right, might not be a good example. I make tea right, that's subjective. I will tell you this, as long as you care for your family and you care for your community, things will turn out. Things will turn out how they're supposed to. That tree could have came in the house and took me out, and that would have been part of God's plan. But instead, I have to contend with the aftermath and make sure that my people are okay. I'm okay with that outcome. I'm more than okay with that. So, all of you who are in the space, giving advice to people who desperately need it, especially in this time where, guess what, man? We got the people's attention. We're no longer crazy. Now it's time to give those people good advice. And now it is time to get off your high horse and get on to the soapbox. It doesn't matter how much surplus gear you have. It doesn't matter how many MREs you have in a box. It matters about what you can make work with what. The tree fell through my shed. I didn't have access to my tools. Thankfully, Pops taught me something back in the day. Keep a set of tools in the house. That way, you're not cussing yourself every time you have to do something, walking out to the shed at 10 o'clock at night because the picture frame fell. Thank God I had some tools in the house, because that helped me pull pieces of my shed apart to get in and gather more tools as I could clear more of the debris and tree away and make sure that my home was not going to fall in on itself. I could brace things. I could screw things into walls. I could hammer things. In none of those times did I think I needed my plate carrier and my rifle and go walking through the neighborhood scaring the elderly. I transported food and gas and help. 2 hands to go help people clear the roadways so that people could get to where they needed to go. Out into the wild blue yonder so that they could check on family. To where they could see, I could get news from beyond. Radios, phones, nothing was working. I didn't have to make a single fire. I didn't have to declare my independence from the United States. As that cools and we watch this fire, I just want to remind everyone that we're all having fun here. My focus has changed due to matters, and it's important to me. I think a lot of people are starting to realize that the more we get into, the more skills we learn, the more books we read, the more fires we build together, I think we're going to find life is more harmonious. When things are disrupted, they are not as disrupted. No matter what the cause, no matter what the reasons, no matter who we blame, the only person to blame for not being prepared is yourself. And I don't care what your financial status is. I don't care what your life status is. I don't care what your health status is. There are things you could be doing. Storing more rice, getting more fuel, getting beyond that 72-hour mark. Testing your gear, and not just your plate carrier. Actually getting out and walking, meeting your neighbors. Bringing a beer to a woman who it's the only thing she didn't have. So, as we move forward, I just want y'all to know that y'all are still in my heart, and I want to give you the best advice I can give. I don't want to half-ass anything. And I don't want to become something that only shows shows things that make me look good, or shows things that make you want to buy something expensive. I started this fire because I prepared. I started this fire because I've made fires before. And I started this fire with one try. Go make a fire. But remember, it's not always about making the fire. Sometimes it's just a little bit of practice to help you get through something, and just to give you some caveman TV to enjoy your cup of tea on a quiet night. Read some books, buy some extra rice this week, saddle up. We're about to descend into the chaos together, and maybe I'll see you on the other side. Till then, pay attention. We're going to come out with some videos soon. Some of them have been long awaited. This is going to be good for everyone. Hug your families. Find out what's killing you and kick its ass, especially if it's the cold. Stay safe.